Hey friends, it's Avi from JustWriteMusic.com. Today I want to talk about something that has been really helpful and transformative in my life, and that's keeping a schedule. Now, I struggled with this for a really long time, and I don't always get everything perfect. It's not ever always great on the day-to-day, but the practice of keeping a schedule has really and truly transformed my productivity. It increased my productivity massively, both in and out of music. First, I want to tell you about my free guide, 7 Ways to Write a More Effective Melody. It's jam-packed with 7 great tips and tools that'll help you get your melodies where you want them. Head on down to JustWriteMusic.com. There's a link in the description. Now, keeping a schedule is just one of those things that you hear on productivity blogs, and you hear it all the time, both in and out of music, both as a freelancer and as a wage earner or a salary earner. It can often feel boring, and if you're a freelance artist and you're making your living with your music or with your art, then you probably have some type of resistance, like I did, to keeping a schedule. You signed up for not a 9-to-5 job. You signed up for making your own schedule and for living life the way you want to live it and living your lifestyle. Well, I hate to break it to you, but that's just not what professionals do. Being a professional means managing your time and managing your productivity in order to increase it as much as you can. It doesn't necessarily mean working more, working smarter, working more efficiently, these types of things. And one of the ways to do that is to keep a schedule. It's time-tested, tried and true. Here's my first big reason why it will help you, especially if you're struggling with feeling like a professional and feeling like you're making a living with your art. Keeping a schedule helps make you feel professional. Doesn't matter what your goal is or what you're doing in music right now, whether you're doing it part-time, full-time, or just as a hobby. When you put writing in your calendar and then you go and actually do it, it feels good. You feel like a pro. You feel like you're getting something done. Professionals keep schedules, and they stick by their schedules, or they at the very least keep their schedule to the best of their ability. Sometimes things pop up. Sometimes you forget that you had a doctor's appointment or something to that effect. A professional will maintain the schedule, even if they don't do it perfect day to day. Like myself, I totally do not keep to my schedule every single day. More often than not, I'm moving things around. But what I do is when things like that happen, I do put that in my schedule so that when I look back, I can see that, oh, I went to the dentist at this time, or I had to reschedule a student and did something else with that time that was originally allotted for that lesson. Another part of this is really giving yourself the time to prioritize writing music specifically, or anything you really need to prioritize. Other jobs and busy work will likely suck up the time a ton. So when you sit down and put writing in your calendar, you can feel good that you are prioritizing something that you want to prioritize, whether that's writing a song or practicing your instrument or practicing your production skills. When you put it in your calendar and actually do it, you don't just feel like a professional, like we said. You are giving yourself accountability. You are becoming accountable to yourself. You believe that you are capable of keeping a schedule and that you do get things done when you keep it, and when you keep it consistently, especially. Now, the second reason I really want to share is that when you're consistent about keeping the schedule, and you're consistent about maintaining and actually doing your writing sessions, then what happens is you suddenly have a massive boost in productivity because you're getting all the things done that you need to get done. Suddenly you're devoting more time that you probably wanted to devote to your craft anyway, at your craft, and when you do that, you get better faster, and you suddenly have so much more material to be working from. Your portfolio is getting bigger. You're getting better at certain techniques. You become a better writer, a better composer, a better instrumentalist faster because you're putting more time in consistently. This aggregates into generally feeling better about yourself, feeling more confident, feeling more capable, and feeling like having better feelings of self-worth, which as an artist, especially as an artist who is trying to make a living, especially in the beginning, it's so hard, and it's so easy to think that you're a failure for, oh man, we could be here all day listing the reasons why. But the most important thing is when you are keeping a writing schedule and you're doing it, you're getting better, you can gain more confidence in yourself because you're holding yourself accountable, you're fulfilling promises to yourself, you're meeting goals, you're doing everything in your power that you can do. It creates this positive feedback loop where you keep your writing schedule because you see the benefits of it and just becomes part of your routine. And keeping a schedule in general just becomes part of your routine because you see the benefits of it. And that's when you start to see things happen in your career because you're doing more. And then you're not necessarily working more, but you're doing more. You can do this scheduling thing. You can do this with a 9-to-5 structure. You can create a 9-to-5 structure for yourself and still do this and still have weekends and still do, unless you're gigging or something, though I guess not many people are gigging right now. You can really make this work the way you want it to work, which is the beauty. You signed up to create your own schedule, create your own life, and live the way you want to do. You're still doing that. You're just choosing to do something that's productive and will help you in your career and help you in your craft. The last reason why this is a big productivity booster is when you put a writing session in your calendar, you're also putting an end time to the writing session, right? Say it's Thursday afternoon, you slotted out an hour for a writing session or a practice session. Well, you only have an hour, and once you get started, it's really kind of hard to stop, right? Especially if there's no deadline. Well, if you have to keep your writing schedule and you know it's good for you, and you trust your past self that doing the next activity needs to happen and is the right move, the end of that hour creates a little mini deadline. And deadlines are awesome. Setting yourself deadlines is a huge productivity hack. It's massive, 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 massive. Parkinson's law says that a task will take the exact amount of time that you allow it to take. So, for example, if you have to do your taxes and it's April 14th and it's due on the 15th, well, hey, look at that. You're probably going to get your taxes done in a few hours or a day. Versus if you started in January and it was April 15th, well, it could take you months to do it. Instead of waiting for the last minute and doing this in a scramble, you can engineer this to happen on every single writing session. Man, hold on, it's going to be 2 o'clock. It's like 10 minutes to 2. I'm just going to get done as much as I can. And suddenly that hour could be more productive than half a day you spent writing because you're just sitting there like blooping around. You have nothing else better to do. When you're in productivity mode and you know that you're going to go from one thing to the next, you make that time count. You work more efficiently. You work more focused. An effect of all of this productivity is that you start to feel good about your writing and about your writing process. You feel good about making progress. You feel good that you're writing all the time. You feel like you feel fulfilled and that your art is being worked on. You're fulfilling your dreams. You're meeting your goals. These are all really, really fantastic feelings that over time just leads to feelings of contentment and self-worth and feelings of value. And as a freelancer, those are huge because it's so easy to get ourselves down about our music and our craft for whatever reason. We can, like I said earlier, we could sit here and list reasons all day. The fact that we're able to take some negativity out of our writing sessions, even if it's unconscious resentment because you're supposed to be writing and you're not. And that can cause some serious cognitive dissonance that can worsen or exacerbate depression or anxiety. So suddenly you'll be feeling anxiety about writing, anxiety about not writing. Whew, it can become a mess. And these tools, writing a schedule is a great tool to help you circumvent that and to subvert that anxiety and exacerbating your depression before it can even happen. And that's what a lot of this stuff does. We're managing our mental illness. We're managing our anxiety and our depression by subverting it, by doing the actions that we know are important to ourselves. The next big thing I want to talk about is structure. And structure is another big boost in our mental health. It helps us manage and subvert the encroachment of anxiety and depression as a freelance artist. When you're a freelancer, you don't just get to decide when to work, you also get to decide when not to work. There's a lot of power in that. It's super easy for us to just keep working all throughout the day. We wake up, we start working, we probably miss a few meals because that's how it happens for me. We wake up, we start working, we kind of keep going through the day, and we have our meals, we do our thing, and then after dinner we come back and keep working. Even if you're coming back and doing some recording for a passion project that you maybe aren't expecting to make much money from, that's still work. That's still your craft. Knowing when not to work is a huge act of self-care. And it's different than when people have a day job, because many people just don't like their day job. Some people love their day job and they don't want to go home from work. Some people want to work a ton. That's awesome. More power to them. Sure, absolutely. But the majority of people don't want to work all the time. When you're a freelancer, you create your own structure and you say, you know what, the structure, the 9-to-5 structure, that works. People do that. I want to do that too. You create that structure. Then when you stop working at 5 or 6 o'clock, depending on when you started, you're being a good boss. You're telling yourself it's time to go home. It's time to stop working. It's time to relax and take care of yourself. It's easy to just keep plugging away at a project, but when you stop at a specific time, you stop at 5 or 6 o'clock, you are doing yourself a kindness. You are treating yourself well as an employee of yourself. And that's amazing. And that leads to my next point, which is when you do that, you start to trust yourself a whole lot more. You trust yourself with yourself, right? When you have a great boss and you can trust that boss, you kind of have this feeling like, you know what? They know what's best for our team. You know what I mean? When like a really good boss, not like one who's like trying to extort you or exploit you or in any way, shape, or form, but a boss who's like legitimately on your side. You can be that boss for yourself. And when you find that boss in the real world or create that boss within yourself, it feels really, really awesome because you feel valued. As this continues, you know, every single writing session that you make and that you keep is another goal achieved. It just creates this positive feedback loop like we were talking about earlier. And it just goes on and on as long as you keep it, even if it's not perfect every day. Even if there's one day where you have a whole day scheduled out and you say, I'm taking the day off, and you do nothing that you meant to do that day. You're the boss. You can decide, hey, you know what? I'm not having a great day. I'm not feeling productive. I'm not feeling like I'm going to do great work, or I want to really take a personal day. You have the power to give that to yourself. And you can do it knowing that you have your schedule and you can make things up or stay on track because you're the boss. You can treat yourself well and hold yourself accountable. And those are really awesome feelings because you grow as a person, you grow as an entrepreneur, as a freelancer, and you grow as an artist. It's all interconnected. That's it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button if you keep a schedule or you agree with this, or leave a comment down below letting me know your experience with keeping a schedule, keeping a writing schedule both in and out of music. Don't forget, I have my free guide that's waiting for you, 7 ways to write a more effective melody. The link is down there in the description. I'm Avi from JustWriteMusic.com. See you next time.